Hello friends, welcome to DDR Academy. In this video, I would like to explain to you the assessment of blood pressure. If you like this video, you can subscribe the channel and press the bell button to get the notifications. So before coming to the topic, I would like to ask you one question. If a narrow cuff is used for measuring BP, then what will be the outcome? I will give you the options. Actual reading will be obtained, falsely high reading will be obtained, falsely low reading will be obtained, BP can't be measured. You can answer it and comment your answers in the comment box, and as you go through this video you will get the answer. So watch till the end to get the important questions. So let us start. Methods of assessing BP. BP can be measured invasively or directly, that is insertion of a catheter inside the artery, and non-invasively or indirectly. Direct method involve insertion of a catheter into an artery. The tubings connect the catheter with the monitor, and the monitor displays the pressure waveforms and reading. So this is most commonly used in intensive care settings. So this is the direct method. Indirect method involve the use of BP apparatus, and the types of BP apparatus include pressure manometers and electronic BP apparatus. The pressure manometers are of mercury manometer or sphygmomanometer and aneroid manometer. So let us discuss each one in detail. First one is the mercury manometer or sphygmomanometer. It consists of pressure manometer, blood pressure cuff and rubber bulb. The blood pressure cuff consists of a rubber bag that can be inflated with air called as bladder. It is covered with cloth and has two tubes attached to it. One tube is attached to the sphygmomanometer and other is attached to the rubber bulb for inflating the bladder. And rubber bulb is having a release valve. It helps to trap and release air in the bladder. Also, it requires a stethoscope for auscultation, and mercury sphygmomanometers are considered as the gold standard in assessing BP. It measures the blood pressure by observing the height of a column of mercury. Next is the aneroid pressure manometer. It has a calibrated dial with a needle that points to the calibrations and has an inflatable cuff. Before using it, make sure that the dial points to 0. And aneroid manometers are considered safer than mercury-based manometers. Next is the electronic or digital method of measurement. It is easy to operate without training. It can be used in noisy environment, but it is not as accurate as mercury measurements. Then the blood pressure monitoring sites. Usually BP is assessed in the client's upper arm, that is in the brachial artery, and we are using a standard stethoscope for assessing BP. But there are indications for assessing BP in the thighs. That is, if BP cannot be measured on either arms because of any burns or trauma, and also to compare BP in both thighs, the BP can be assessed in thighs. Next, the contraindications to measure BP. That is, the situations in which BP cannot be measured in a particular limb. That is, first one is the shoulder, arm or hand is injured or diseased, cast or bulky bandage on any part of the limb, surgical removal of lymph nodes, that is in the axilla or hip on that side as for any cancer, client has intravenous infusion in that limb, and client has AV fistula for dialysis in that limb. So these are the contraindications to measure BP. Next is the methods to assess BP. The non-invasive or indirect method include the auscultatory method and palpatory method. Auscultatory method is the accurate method and it requires the equipment's sphygmomanometer, cuff and stethoscope. So regarding the cuff application, select the proper size cuff. Properly fit BP cuff cover 2/3 of the upper arm from elbow to shoulder, and it should be long enough to encircle the extremity. So ideally the width of the cuff is 40% of the circumference of midpoint of the limb, and length of the cuff is 80% of the circumference. So width of the cuff is 40% of the circumference of midpoint of the limb, and length is 80% of the circumference. So in this auscultatory method, First of all, the cuff is placed around the upper arm roughly at the same vertical height as the heart. and the cuff is attached to the sphygmomanometer. Cuff is inflated, pressure increases and the tissues in the patient's upper arm become compressed, occluding blood flow in the brachial artery. Pressure in the cuff is increased above the point where the blood stops flowing in the artery. Then the pressure is released slowly. At a point when the pressure is equal to systolic BP, blood begins to flow again. Here the nurse observes the manometer reading and relates them to the sound heard through stethoscope placed at brachial artery. Sound auscultated can be differentiated into 5 Korotkov sound. The pressure within the cuff is further reduced and the artery remains open. When the cuff pressure is equal to the diastolic pressure, the noise stops. So this is a method of assessing by auscultatory method, and there are 5 phases of Korotkov sound, and the phase 1 is the appearance of clear, sharp tapping sound as the cuff is gradually deflated. It corresponds to systolic pressure. Phase 2 is a blowing or whooshing sound. The sound becomes softer and longer. As artery distance, there is turbulence in blood flow. Phase 3, a crisp, intense tapping sound, but it is softer than in phase 1. And phase 4 is soft blowing sound. The blood flow starts to become less turbulent in the artery and the sound becomes softer. Phase 5 is silence, that is the pressure level when the last sound is heard, that is the diastolic blood pressure, followed by a period of silence. The sound disappears completely since the blood flow through the artery has returned to normal. Next is the palpatory method. It is used when the arterial pulsations are too weak to create Korotkov sound. Cuff applied to arm is inflated until the radial pulse disappears. Pressure in the cuff is released until the pulse is felt again. Thus, systolic BP can be obtained with sphygmomanometer. Diastolic BP cannot be elicited by this method. Next, I am going to discuss the common errors in BP monitoring. The first one is use of narrow cuff. It leads to falsely high reading. Second, use of large cuff. It may cause falsely low reading. And repeating the assessment too quickly may alter the readings. If cuff is tied too loosely, it may alter the readings. And deflating cuff too quickly or too slowly may alter the reading. Arms above or below heart level may give false readings. So these are the common errors in measuring BP. Next is the frequently asked questions. So this is the question displayed at the beginning of the video. Now you can give your answer. If a narrow cuff is used for measuring BP, then what will be the outcome? Options: actual reading will be obtained, falsely high reading will be obtained, falsely low reading will be obtained, and BP can't be measured. Here the right answer is falsely high reading will be obtained if we are using a narrow cuff in measuring BP. Second question, the instrument used in measuring blood pressure. Options: manometer, sphygmomanometer, barometer, thermometer. Here the right answer is sphygmomanometer. Next question, the width of cuff bladder of BP apparatus is. Options: 40% of the circumference of the midpoint of the limb, 60% of the circumference of the midpoint of the limb, 80% of the circumference of the midpoint of the limb, and none of the above. Here the right answer is 40% of the circumference of the midpoint of the limb. So thank you. Thank you for watching this video. As we are uploading more videos, you can watch it and get the notifications by subscribing the channel.